Hey guys, EC Network here, coming at you with another video. So I just finished watching the Ben 10 Alien X-Tinction special event, which actually serves as the finale of the Ben 10 reboot, and I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on it. As per usual with these videos, there will be spoilers at a given point. Until then, it is spoiler free. I will let you know when the spoilers are coming. Anyways, overall, I thought this special was alright. I think this special had the potential to be great, and honestly, some animation errors along with some issues with the plot really hold this special back for me. In addition to that, this, like I said, is the finale for the Ben 10 reboot, but it doesn't really feel like one in many ways, and I'll get into all this more in detail in the spoiler section, which is coming up now, so spoilers ahead, you have been warned. So the main reason people were excited about this special is the return of Ben Prime, which, by the way, was voiced once again by Yuri Lowenthal, which was absolutely fantastic to see. But like I said, the main reason people were excited about this special was the return of Ben Prime. But how exactly did they do it, and did they do it well? So basically, this special starts out where we see the Reboot Ben and Reboot Grandpa Max at a campfire, where they say, oh, Gwen's in summer school, so we're just having a guys' night out. And all of a sudden, Alien X attacks, and we learn that this Alien X is stealing Omnitrixes throughout the Omniverse. It gets Reboot Ben's Omnitrix, and a Grandpa Match from a different dimension comes and says, oh, I was too late. This is the whatever Ben that's lost his Omnitrix. And he goes back to his ship, and it turns out that he has an entire map of all the Bens in the Omniverse, and a lot of them are dead. He straight up says, yeah, a lot of the Bens, they didn't make it out of that. You're lucky to be alive. And I'm like, wow, that was pretty dark for the reboot, because I don't think, at least to my knowledge, I haven't watched a lot of the reboot. I think this is probably the first time that they actually mentioned someone dying in the reboot. But anyways, long story short, we then go to another Dimensions Ben where Alien X is about to attack, and this is actually Reboot Ben. So this is one of the problems that I have with this special. There's, in Omniverse, when they handle there being different dimension Bens, each Ben has a distinct characteristic, like Ben 23, Ben Prime. They're all different, so you could distinguish which is which, right? So in this special, they show in the beginning Reboot Ben, who then looks exactly the same as another Reboot Ben. So it turns out that the first Reboot Ben we saw is not the actual Ben we've been following throughout the reboot, which was pretty confusing to me. Anyways, Reboot Ben is fighting Zombozo, and this fight went on for like maybe 5-6 minutes, and I was like, okay, this is kind of weird, because I want to know what's happening with this Alien X, with this other dimension Grandpa Max, who's actually pretty cool, and with everything else that's going on in this special, and this fight kind of dragged on. When the fight ends, Alien X comes out of nowhere, he's trying to steal the Reboot Ben's Omnitrix, and he actually succeeds. The dimension hopping Grandpa Max comes and he's like, oh no, I was too late again, and he says he's stuck there because his ship was destroyed and he can't get back to hopping dimensions. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Alien Force Ben comes, voiced once again by Yuri Lowenthal, like I said before, and he comes in as Chroma Stone, and that's the first new old alien we see in this special. He explains to the group that he's a plumber, and Ben 10 from the reboot says, oh, why don't they just call that Alien Force? Which I thought that was kind of like a funny nod to, hey, that was the second show, Alien Force, and that's where you're from. Anyways, while he's talking about the plumbers, the reboot grandpa is getting nervous, like whistling and stuff, hinting at that he was a plumber, and they straight up ask him, were you a plumber, grandpa? And he's like, that's a topic for another, and then he cuts off. In my mind, he was going to say that's a topic for another show or something, which I'm like, I wonder if that kind of tips the hand at what they're doing next. But as we continue throughout this special, what they decide to do is gather a bunch of Bens in this universe, in this dimension, so that they can attract Alien X to the reboot dimension, then trying to get all the Omnitrixes back. They end up getting Ben 10 from Omniverse, Ben 10 from Alien Force, like I said, Ultimate Alien, and then the original series, and also a Gwen 10. Where this special once again gets confusing is they show kind of Alien X going after the dimension hopping Grandpa Max's Ben, who he says died, and also his Gwen died, and that's the Omniverse Ben. That is the Omniverse Ben from the beginning of Omniverse. But then we see Omniverse Ben with the hoodie later on in the special. So again, confusing, because they're showing Omniverse Ben getting killed, but then we see Omniverse Ben later, so that means there's two dimensions of Omniverse Ben. This whole special was very confusing to me with the dimensions. Like I said, Omniverse did it well. Each Ben was distinctly different, but this reboot version, all the Bens are basically the same. They're all the same Ben Prime, but just in different dimensions, which is kind of weird because they're all a part of the same timeline. Anyways, long story short, what ends up happening, they all come together, they all fight, they get the Omnitrixes back, and they defeat Alien X, who is revealed to be Ben 10,000. So this Alien X, who is a criminal, who they say is going to the Null Void, is actually a Ben 10,000 who apparently was fighting Vilgax, and Vilgax then killed his Gwen and Grandpa Max, so then he was like, oh, I'm gonna, steal all the Omnitrixes from the Omniverse and ruin all the Ben's lives just like my life was ruined. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. And that was the entirety of the special. As for the animations errors I mentioned, the two big ones that I picked up on are, number one, that Ultimate Alien Ben, he wears the Ultimatrix upside down for the entirety of the special, which was just like, come on, that's a big screw up. It wasn't just for one scene, it was for the entirety of the special. Second animation screw up is when they come out of the dimension getting all of the different Bens. Reboot Ben has his Omnitrix on him, and it was stolen by Alien X, so I was like, wait 1 second, how did he get his Omnitrix back? And then in the next shot, the Omnitrix is gone, so that was another animation error, which I thought, come on, that's like, that's a pretty big one for the plot. All in all, though, the special, I feel like it could have been great, but it was kind of just like a mess at some points. Another thing that I really didn't like about it is the different dimension Bens and Gwens, they didn't use anything but one alien. So in other words, like, look, the original series Ben only used Heat Blast. The Alien Force Ben only used Chroma Stone and Big Chill. Ultimate Alien only Amphibian, and then Omniverse only Blocks. And they, at multiple points, go back to being Ben, and they go to use the Omnitrix again, and they keep using the same alien, which is like, why? Why didn't they just switch aliens? Or why even, like, for example, Ultimate Alien Ben should have gone Ultimate Alien for one of his aliens. Maybe go Ultimate Humongosaur or something. That was something that I just was, when watching it, was like, okay, this is kind of weird. Why is it that they keep transforming into the same aliens over and over again? It kind of just ruined the variety of it. It kind of became stale, like, oh, I wonder who Ben's going to transform into. Oh, it's probably going to be Amphibian again. Oh, what do you know? It's Amphibian again. Instead of all the aliens that Ben has in the Omnitrix, it would have been cool to see some more old aliens return, as opposed to just using the same one over and over and over again. Gwen 10 used Ripjaws, same issue there, but her Ripjaws was a new design for Ripjaws, and I actually do like it. And the last thing I'll say on aliens is the Ben 10 from the reboot did not get any new aliens in this special, which I think is pretty disappointing. Being that this is the finale of the Ben 10 reboot, I feel like they should have gone out with a bang and given him some cool new alien that we've never seen before. But last thing that I will mention in this video is, how does this serve as the finale of the Ben 10 reboot? It was kind of weird to me, because Ben in this finale is fighting someone from a completely different dimension, from another universe, and it's actually another Ben. In the past, every single Ben 10 series has concluded on Ben fighting a villain that's kind of been building up throughout the show. Like, in Ultimate Alien, it's like they have to fight Vilgax again. In Alien Force, it's Vilgax. So then in Omniverse, he has to fight Maltruant, but there was a build-up to that. What I'm trying to say is each finale, except for maybe the original series, they all have a build-up to it. It doesn't just kind of end like that with this new character that they're introducing, and that's the finale of the show. I guess the reason why it's like that for the reboot is because there really isn't a story throughout it. There really isn't a start, middle, and end point to the journey of Ben in the reboot. It's just kind of one-and-off type episodes with some characters returning here and there. But overall, like I said, I thought this special was okay. It wasn't great, it could have been great, but the errors that I've mentioned, the lack of aliens being in the special, kind of takes it down a notch for me. Last thing I want to say is tomorrow I'm going to have a video discussing that the reboot's now over. What's coming next for Ben 10, and we'll have a whole discussion on that tomorrow. But anyways, let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought of Ben 10 Alien X-Tinction, and if you agree with me or completely disagree with me on my criticisms of it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.